Welcome to A Quest for Metal. Today we're doing something fun. Thought I'd change it up a bit rather than the usual reviews and rankings, and we're going to do album bracket fights. You may be thinking, what the hell is an album bracket fight? Well, good thing you asked, because I'll tell you right now. Exposition for your ass. So, there's this site, which I'll link in the description, which pits albums against each other in kind of like a tournament, set. You've seen these on probably Super Smash Bros. Or any gaming or any website of sports, maybe, if you're into that. But we're going to be pitting off albums against each other, so then there's one winner at the end. And I haven't seen this in advance. I mean, I went on it and I looked and I was like, oh, I know some of these albums. I'm not going to look at the rest because it's a big one. And we're going to do it on the fly. We're going to do it on the fly right now. And I've only seen the first couple, so there's probably ones that I won't even know. It's going to be disastrous, but it'll be fun. So let's get it started with the left side of the list, pitting albums against each other, and let's see who would win. And play along at home as well. Put in the comments below what you would pick as well. So first up we have Megadeth's Rust in Peace versus Def's Human. This is starting off stupid already, because I love both these albums. And pitting them against the other is ridiculous, but that's the name of the game. Human, a fantastic fucking death metal album. But I will say it's not my favourite. I've done a death ranking, and my favourites are like Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy, those ones. And Megadeth's Rust in Peace is my favourite Megadeth album. So I think going on that, I'm gonna have to give it to Megadeth for this one. And I prefer death metal to thrash metal. It's just better. But for this particular one, because it's not my favourite Death album, or even my second favourite Death album, still a great album though, it's going to have to go to Rust in Peace. So Rust in Peace is the winner for this one. Next up, Repulsion with Horrified, and then Don't Break the Oath by Merciful Fate. This one's an easy one for me. Merciful Fate is Merciful Fate. Classic King Diamond, classic vocals, one of the greatest heavy metal albums of all time. Don't come to the Sabbath. Amazing album. I mean, the other one's amazing as well, but come on, Don't Break the Oath. Don't Break the Oath. It's a clear winner here. Next up we have Judas Priest's Sad Wings of Destiny versus Sleep's Holy Mountain. Now this is a hard one, because I really love Doom. I love Stoner Doom, and I love Sleep. So I love this album. I really do. And the Judas Priest album is also fucking fantastic. It's a classic. So this is a hard one. This is a hard one for me. Because if I was going to put one on now to listen to, it'd be Sleep. So, going by that, I should pick that. But Judas Priest one's amazing. And I'll have to have my metal card revoked if I pick Sleep. But I'm going to go by what I want to listen to. And what I want to listen to is Sleep. So I'm going to pick Sleep for this one. Crucify Me all you want. There's probably other Judas Priest albums in here which I might pick over. So, still a flawless album, but I'm picking Sleep for this one. Fuck it. Sleep. Next up we have Rainbow with Rising. Amazing album. And then we have Napalm Death Scum. Like the pioneers of grindcore. One of the biggest grindcore albums of all time. I'm going to have to go with Rainbow for this one. That sounds like I'm taking a jab at Napalm Death, and I enjoy them-ish. Not my favourite, but Rainbow is a classic, absolute amazing, sort of one of the best vocals, ever. Come on. It's an amazing album from start to finish. I haven't really given Napalm Death too much of a listen. The music, it's one of those famous bands I can't get into. There's a couple. Sepultura was one, but I'm getting into them now. I just need more time with Napalm Death. The grindcore's not really my thing, Any of that kind of noise stuff is not really my thing. But Rainbow is fucking amazing. So Rainbow's going here. Next up we have Black Sabbath with Paranoid, and then Cynic, which I'm gonna have to go with. Actually, this is a hard one. I do think Paranoid is a bit overrated. I do prefer Masters of Reality. I do prefer Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules. The Dio era is my favourite era. Dio's just a legend. Cynic is probably the one I'm going to pick. I'm probably going to pick Cynic, which is another... Oh, you're trashing on the amazing albums, but fuck it. Cynic is great. Love this album. Love this album to bits, so Cynic is an easy winner here for me. Speaking of an easy winner, the next one we have Suffocation and Queensryche. Two really fucking amazing albums. One amazing album, which is Suffocation. Suffocation is gonna win this one for me. Stop it. I know Mindcrime's like pinnacle of prog or whatever. It's probably my least favourite album in prog. I don't like Queensryche. They're one of the bands I don't like. Like I was talking about with Napalm Death, the famous ones that I don't like, this one showed up. Queensryche is one I don't like. I don't understand how it's so big, but not bashing anyone who likes it. It's just not for me. So Suffocation is an easy winner. Tech Death beats whatever the fuck Operation Mindcrime is. I fucking hate their vocals. I hate his vocals. Any Queensryche album's fucking dog shit. I mean, they're not my cup of tea. That's what I meant to say. Not my cup of tea. Next up we have System of a Down, Toxicity. What my hand was doing then. And then Rain and Blood. It's got to go with Rain and Blood for this one, I think. Got to go with Rain and Blood. Even though I really like Toxicity, it's one of my childhood bands. One of my childhood albums. I love all the songs in it. But Rain and Blood's Rain and Blood. So, you know, Monarch to the Kingdom of the Dead. It has to go to Rain and Blood. Next up, we have Korn, and then Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Now, I like both these albums, but one's a clear winner here. One's a clear winner, and that is Seventh Son. You know, if that didn't win, something's wrong. Something is wrong. Seventh Son's fantastic, one of the best Maiden albums. Gotta win. Next up, we have another clear winner straight away, before I even mention it. We have Limp Bizkit and Mastodon. Mastodon, it doesn't even matter which album Mastodon is. It doesn't even matter what band goes against Limp Bizkit. The other band's generally going to win, unless it's Queensryche. The other band's generally going to win. So, yes, Mastodon's Crack the Sky. And it just so happens to be my favourite Mastodon album. So, yeah, no worries here. Next up, Faith No More, classic album, and Five Finger Death Punch, famous album. Now, I famously said that Five Finger Death Punch was my least favourite band. But, for one, I don't think Faith No More's that metal. And for two, I actually kind of like the first couple of albums for Five Finger Death Punch. They're nothing special, they're just kind of pretty good. So I'd probably give this one to Five Finger, even though I said I hated them. Hate's a strong word. They have some good songs from the early days, and this is one of the early albums, so it's one of the ones I can enjoy. So I'm going to give it to this one. I'm going to give it to Five Finger for this one. Next up, Disturbed, Rage Against the Machine. Usually people would say Rage Against the Machine for this one, but I'm going to go with Disturbed for this one, just because it's 10,000 Fists, and that's the best Disturbed album. Stricken, come on, 10,000 Fists in the Air. Amazing album by Disturbed, the best Disturbed album going against the not best Rage Against the Machine album. So, it's going to go with Disturbed for this one. Next up we have, this is the hard one. It is Death Spell Omega's Paralactus versus Metallica. I almost forgot the name of the Metallica's And Justice for All. I love both of these albums, but I'm gonna have to give it to Death Spell Omega for this one, because I really love Paralactus. It's probably my favourite Death Spell album. It's just so intense and aggressive and just like, I love it. I love it. Paralactus, it's just amazing. I love that album. So this is a hard one. I could pick And Justice for All for like winning loads of the other ones I mentioned, but because it's against Death Spell, I have to give it to Death Spell. I don't know who this next album cover is, but it's against Panopticon, and I love Panopticon. So, you know, I'm going to have to give it to Panopticon just because I don't know the album for the next one. So let me know in the comments who that is. It's probably someone famous. I'm just kind of blanking it. Or maybe I haven't heard it. Doesn't fucking matter. I haven't heard everything, you know. But I really love the Panopticon album, so I have no problems putting that here. Next up, we've got Incubus versus Def Leppard. And I gotta go with the Leopard. I gotta go with the Leopard for this one. Classic, heavy metal. Seen them live, always fun. Always put on a good show. Love me some Leopard. Now we got a stupid one. Master of Puppets versus Painkiller. Both absolutely amazing. But for this one, I'll pick Metallica. For this one, I will pick Metallica. This one, I'll go with Master of Puppets, just because classic thrash album. I know Painkiller's a classic heavy metal album as well, but it's not my favourite. It's not my favourite. Neither was Sad Wings. Not my favourite. So, you know, gonna go with Master of Puppets for this one. Next one's stupid. Lamb of God versus Gojira. Both these albums are some of my favourites. Some of my favourite albums. So this is really hard. I'm gonna give the edge to Gojira on this one, just because it's my favourite Gojira album. It's in my top 50 albums of all time, quite high. So Gojira has to take the cake. Has to take the cake. But the other one, Ashes of the Wake, is also in my top 50 albums of all time. So that was a hard one, but it's got to go with Gojira. Next we've got Skyclad and The Bleeding. You know, both great albums, but The Bleeding is in my top 50 again. So The Bleeding has to win because it's the best Cannibal Corpse album. It's the catchiest Cannibal Corpse album, and it's one of my favourite albums of all time, so The Bleeding is an easy winner for this one. Next up, The Great Southern Trendkill by Pantera. Pretty cool album, versus Lateralis by Tool. Lateralis is going to win this. I'm a Tool fanboy. I'm a Tool fanboy. I love every single song they've ever done. I think they're like one of the best bands ever. So, you know, Tool's gonna have to win this one. Tool's easily gonna win this one. Pantera's overrated as fuck. Now let's move on before I trigger everyone. So this next one, not too sure about this one. I don't know who this is. Tell me in the comments below who it is and why I should check it out. So Jester Race is gonna win this one. By default, really. Next up, Cryptopsy versus Liturgy. Is it Liturgy or Liturgy? I don't know. Anyway, this is a hard one. Both great bands, both great albums, but None So Vile is my personal favourite. None So Vile is a great death metal album, so None So Vile it is. Next up, Death versus Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Individual thought patterns, you know I'm going to give it to Death this one. Oh, I'm wearing the fucking Death shirt. Gotta give it to Death. Individual thought patterns, he's got to go here. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is great, but it's not my favourite Sabbath album. It's not my favourite Sabbath album, so giving it to Death. Next up we got Converge and Opeth's Blackwater Park. If you know my channel, you know what I'm picking. It's Opeth's Blackwater Park. It's my favourite band of all time. I gotta go with my guns. I gotta go pick my favourite band of all time. Opeth's winning this one. Next up, Death Symbolic versus Gojira. And this is a hard one, but I gotta go with Death again. Death Symbolic. Fantastic, amazing album. It has Crystal Mountain on. Easy win. Easy win. Next up we have Dissection, Storm of the Lightsbane versus the debut by Black Sabbath. And, this is hard. I really love both of these albums. If you know my type of music, Dissection's winning. Melodic black metal, and the melodies in these songs, Dissection's perfect. Storm of the Lightsbane's amazing, has to win. Next we've got Rob Zombie and Emperor in the Night's Out Eclipse. Gotta go with Emperor. Gotta go with Emperor. I got the fucking shirt of it. I love that album to bits. It's not my favourite. Anthems is my favourite, but it's still a classic. And still deserves to win. Next up we got Dio, Holy Diver versus Burzum with the long album title that I don't know. If I was smart, I'd give it to Dio, but I'm not. I'm going to give it to Burzum because this album is magnificent. It's one of my favourite albums. Again, it's not my favourite Burzum album, but it's up there. It's probably the best. And I adore it. It's like a 10 out of 10. So Burzum's winning this one. Dio's one's a 10 as well. But if I was going to pick an album to play right now, it'd be Burzum's. Hands down, it'd be Burzum's. Next up, we got Iron Maiden's Power Slave versus Linkin Park. This is fucking easy. Iron Maiden's winning this one. Power Slave is a classic. Linkin Park isn't. You know, Iron Maiden's an easy winner. Iron Maiden's an easy winner. Next up, we got Primordial versus Tool's Anima. I already went crazy over Tool, so let's just give it to Tool because you know it's gonna win, and it's my favorite album by Tool, so it's got the higher ground here. Anakin, it's got the higher ground. Next up, the famous album by Suicide Silence versus Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance, which we're going to give it to Screaming for Vengeance for this one. Yeah, Judas Priest is finally getting it, and it's on an album which deserves it more than Painkiller and the other one, I think. Although, I don't know, Sad Winds of Destiny is amazing. But Screaming for Vengeance, one of the classics, one of the best, has to win. Next up, I think for this one, I'm going to have to go with my favourite Nightwish album, Once. It's my favourite Nightwish album. It's one of my favourite symphonic metal albums of all time. Has one of my favourite symphonic metal songs of all time. Once is a masterpiece. Easy win. Next up, Agalloch, Ashes Against the Grain versus Seasons in the Abyss. My favourite Slayer album. I'm going to have to give it to Agalloch. Agalloch is one of my favourite bands. It's in my top 4 bands of all time. I just love the music, I love the melodies, I love everything about it. Atmospheric black metal at its finest. And this album's just beautiful. Falling Snow, come on, Limbs, come on. All the songs are amazing. Agalloch wins. And finally, from the left side, we have Black Sabbath's Master of Reality, the best Black Sabbath album, versus City of Evil by Avenged Sevenfold. Now, I probably come off cross as like an elitist, but I just like my own opinions. I really like City of Evil. I really like Avenged Sevenfold. You know? I think Bullet's first albums are great. I love Avenged Sevenfold. I love Trivium. Killswitch is cool. I love all these bands. It's just Napalm Death and Queensryche, and you know, Panda Aaron's a bit overrated. That's it. That's it for the unpopular opinions here. But this one, at this current moment in time, I'd pick Avenged Sevenfold, and that's probably going to trigger everyone. But again, just like I said with System of a Down, it's a childhood band, and Sabbath, I prefer Dio Sabbath to Aussie Sabbath, so I'm sorry. I'm going to pick City of Evil, Avenged Sevenfold. I love all the songs on it. Beast and the Harlot, Backcountry, come on. It's a perfect album. It's a perfect album. MIA, my favourite Avenged Sevenfold song. This album's fucking flawless. Love it to bits. So's Masters of Reality, though. So's that album. That's like one of the best Sabbath albums. But yeah, that's it for the first part of this list of bracket fights. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. Tell me in the comments below the albums you would pick. On the next video, we will do the right side. And then the final video, we will see what wins or what album comes on top. So I hope you enjoyed bracket fights, and we'll see you again on another video.